very much enjoying this learning of Indes. So today we have another lot of set of interesting things to cover. Uh, so what we did yesterday, as you would recollect, we had a complete 360-degree review of all the 39 index which are prevalent today in our country. We looked at them one by one and classifying them into three different groups: presentation, financial position, and P&L. So when I say financial position, that means balance sheet. And then of course we looked at from the point of view of the consolidation. So this is what we did yesterday, and the plan that I have today is as you can see on the screen. तो पहले हम क्या करेंगे, पहले हम फ्रेमवर्क को समझ के लेंगे. फ्रेमवर्क के जो 9 अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट्स हैं उसके ऊपर ध्यान देंगे, उसको समझ के लेंगे. एंड देन वी विल अंडरस्टैंड द करंट रोड मैप फॉर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ इंडेस इन इंडिया. And now, why do I say current roadmap for implementation of INDES in India? And that is because initially in our country, these indices were to be implemented in from 1st April 2011, but that could not happen, and that is how they are now being rolled out from 1st April 2015 for the financial year 15-16. It was on a voluntary basis, and from 1st April 2016, that is FY 16-17 onwards, it is being implemented in phase wise manner. So that is the second, that's the reason why I'm saying that current roadmap for implementation of INDES in India. Friends, this is very very important for all of you to be very clear about the roadmap. ये आपको मालूम होना चाहिए, आपके ध्यान में होना चाहिए, आपके संज्ञान में होना चाहिए कि इंडिया में इंडेस के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का रोड मैप क्या है. तो उससे आपके दिमाग में एक पर्सपेक्टिव तैयार होगा एज टू विच आर दी कंपनीज, विच आर दी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस फॉर विच इंडेस इज गोइंग टू बी मैंडेटरी, और अदर इट हैज बिकम मैंडेटरी ऑलरेडी for some of them, and for some of them it is going to be mandatory going forward. तो उससे आपको एक perspective आएगा, and this is what we would look at number 2. And then we will shift our focus on Indes 1, which is the first Indes, which is presentation of financial statements. आप समझ सकते हैं ये पहला इंडेस है, और अपारेंटली इट टॉक्स अबाउट द प्रेजेंटेशन कि आपके जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स हैं कंपनियों के, वो कंपनीज के फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का प्रेजेंटेशन कैसे होगा, क्या उसके एलिमेंट्स होंगे, कैसे उनका रिकॉग्निशन होगा, व्हाट आर द मिनिमम आइटम्स दैट विल नीड टू अपीयर इन द बैलेंस शीट, who are the stakeholders, who are the users of the financial statements, what is the purpose of the financial statements. Now all those questions we are going to cover as part of the Indes 1, that is on presentation of financial statements. यहाँ पर मैं आगे बढ़ने से पहले एक बात क्लियर करना चाहूँगा कि आप देखेंगे कि जब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ तो मैं इंडेस बोलता हूँ. आई एम नॉट यूजिंग इंडेसेस मैनी टाइम्स, बट प्लीज रिमेंबर, even if I am saying indes, unless I am specifically referring it as a singular item, I always mean to say plural. So instead of saying indices, I'm just saying indes. So even if I say indes, you must understand I am talking in terms of plurally. अगर मुझे एक इंडेस की बात करनी होगी तो मैं आपको कहूँगा कि भाई I am talking about only one single index. All right, so with this introduction, let us move forward and look at the framework. And as I said on the very first day, friends, framework is very important. Framework is in the foundation, and you must have a good understanding of the framework. So the key issues, there are 9 key issues when it comes to the framework. First of all, of course, what it is, what's the purpose, who are the users of the financial statements, what is the objective of financial statement. Obviously हम बैलेंस शीट बनाएंगे, हम प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट बनाएंगे, हम कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट बनाएंगे, तो ये तीनों स्टेटमेंट्स का पर्पस क्या है. सो दैट इज व्हाट हैज बीन वेरी क्लियरली स्पेल्ड आउट in the framework. what are the qualitative characteristics of the financial statements. So remember, it is just not enough to make the financial statements. What is more important is those financial statements should have definite qualitative characteristics. What those qualitative characteristics are have been spelled out very clearly in the framework, and that is what we will understand. Then what are the underlying assumptions in preparation of the financial statements, and then what are the elements of financial statements, how do you do the recognition of those elements in your books when you are preparing accounts of a company, and finally we would look at the measurement criteria of elements of financial statements. So जो जो अलग अलग एलिमेंट्स हैं फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स के, तो उनको उनका क्या क्राइटेरिया है उनको मेजर करने का, एंड टू रिकॉर्ड देम और रिकॉग्नाइज इन द बुक्स. So this is the initial point that we are going to discuss. Let us come to them one by one. So first of all, as you can see on the screen, what is framework? It is the foundation on which building of indices is built. It is also a lighthouse for financial accounting and reporting. This is framework. Framework is in the bottom. Framework is the foundation of the accounting standards per se. So what purpose the framework is supposed to serve? Let us understand it one by one. The first purpose which is expected, which the which the framework is supposed to serve. So the first purpose is it guides the authorities in setting the standards. That is the first purpose served by the framework. Now please understand, in India we call it Indes. Globally it is referred as IFRS. So IASB as the standard setting body refers to the framework as guide for guidance. Likewise in India, ASB, Accounting Standards Board of ICAI, who is responsible for the accounting standards in India, they also would refer the framework as guidance in setting the standards in India. Then the framework would also serve the purpose of assisting those who are preparing financial statements and auditors to interpret standards or deal with issues that are not covered by these standards. Now please remember, this is what you must understand very clearly, कि आप कितना भी बढ़िया स्टैंडर्ड बनाओ, कितना भी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव उनको बनाने की कोशिश करो, there is always a possibility that something or the other may just escape your attention. It is always possible that something or the other would not be figuring into the standards that the standard setting body may have come out with. So what do? Do you forget about them? Of course not. That problem has to be resolved. That conflict has to be resolved. So how do you resolve such conflict? How do you resolve such confusion when the particular standard is not providing for certain situation? So obviously you have to resolve the problem, and in that case what you do, you refer the framework, and taking the spirit of the framework, you find out as to what will be the resolution of the conflict that would have arisen because this issue is not addressed in the particular accounting standard. So that is the second purpose which the framework would serve. Third is it sets out the key objective of financial statements, and which of course is critical and crucial, because ultimately accounting standards क्यों बना रहे हैं? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स इसलिए बना रहे हैं ताकि कोई एक डेफिनेट पर्पस सर्व होना चाहिए, एंड व्हाट दैट डेफिनेट पर्पस इज, it has to be clearly mentioned in the framework itself, that this is the purpose which the standards are supposed to serve. So the framework would also set out these key objectives, and we would look at them one by one as we move forward. And then of course the framework also defines the assets and liabilities and relates them to other elements such as income and expenses. So, friends, these are the four purposes, specific purposes, which are served by the framework. And I would very strongly recommend to every one of you have a very good understanding of framework. Please remember, गलती से ये मत सोचना कि अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड की तैयारी करनी है इसका मतलब जो 39 अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं उनको तैयार कर लो, फ्रेमवर्क को मत देखो। नहीं, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स की तैयारी करनी है तो फ्रेमवर्क से चालू करो। और मैं आपको बताऊं कि अगर आप अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स की तैयारी फ्रेमवर्क से स्टार्ट करोगे तो आप देखोगे कि आपकी अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स की प्रिपरेशन में मजबूती आएगी, क्लैरिटी आएगी और ईज ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग आएगी। ओके, सो विद दिस लेट अस मूव टू द नेक्स्ट वन। एंड व्हाट इज द पर्पस एंड द रोल that the framework serves? I think I have already explained many times, but to be very specific, it describes the basic concept, and this is what we would notice. Number two, it serves as a guide, and number three, it guides to resolving accounting issues. So these are the three things, the purpose and the role of the framework, which is in line with what we have discussed so far. After this, let us look at as to who are the users. And remember, these users are clearly mentioned in the framework as to financial statements को use करने वाले कौन लोग हैं। और याद रखिए, एज अकाउंटिंग प्रोफेशनल, एज फाइनेंस प्रोफेशनल, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस to be very clear in our mind as to who are the users of the financial statements which we are making or which we are auditing or which we are responsible for being made. क्योंकि unless and until we have the clarity about as to who are the users of these financial statements, remember, we will not be able to meet and match their expectations, which is our prime responsibility. Our prime responsibility is that we prepare the accounts in a way, or the accounts are prepared in a way so that the expectations of the users of the financial statements are fully met. So who these users are? The first and foremost, you of course refer them as stakeholders. So the first is employee, lenders, suppliers and the other creditors, customers, government, public and society at large, and investor. So these are the users of the financial statements. So the framework clearly mentions that the purpose of the accounting standards is to provide information with the help of the financial statements so that these users of the financial statements are able to take economic decisions. And that is what we need to remember. So just to quickly refresh, who are the users? As you can see on the screen, it starts with the investor, because he is the one who is putting his money, and that is how the unit business is starting. After the investor, the next is employee, because once the investor starts a business, then he would recruit the employee. Then he would also get the lender, because it is not every time the owner will put money from his pocket. More often than not, the promoters or the owners or the people who start the business would also go and take money from the lenders, from the banks and the financial institutions. And then of course you will have the suppliers and the other creditors coming in. And once you have the suppliers coming in with the raw material, you of course will convert that raw material into finished product. So when you convert the raw material into finished product, then what you get? Then you get customer. So customer becomes your next user of your financial statements. A customer would always like to look at your company's financials and find out whether this company will be able to pay me in time or not. So that is what he can make out by looking at the financial statements of your company. Then of course the government, because government has got multiple interest in the business of the company and also in the financial information of the company. In many ways, the government will be interested in terms of getting the taxes, in terms of getting the CSR, in terms of getting as to what kind of development or contribution the business is making towards the growth of the economy, and so on and so forth. So that is the interest that the government will have in the financial statements of the company. And then next is, of course, and the final is public and society at large. So that would mean everybody would be a user, would be interested user of the financial statements of your company. So these, my friends, are the users of the financial statements. So the financial statements that tomorrow you would make for the companies that you work for, or you would advise your clients. Remember, you will have to keep in mind these users of the financial statements. So you will have to drive yourself keeping in mind these people, their expectations from the financial statements that you would prepare for your business. So the financial statements that you prepare for your business will have to be prepared in a way using the accounting standards, using the Ind AS, that these financial statements bring out the information which is useful to these users of the financial statements in taking economic decisions. So, as we discussed, what are the main objectives of financial statements? The main objective of the financial statement is to provide, as I said a little while ago, is to provide information that is useful to a wide range of users in making economic decisions. So remember, the focus is on economic decisions. So and that is the broad purpose, that is the main objective of the financial statements. So what are the financial statements that we make for this purpose? Number one is the balance sheet. And what does balance sheet tell you, or what the balance sheet will tell the users of your financial statements? The balance sheet will tell what is the financial position of the entity, whether it is a leveraged company, whether it is a moderately leveraged company, whether this is a highly leveraged company, whether this is zero debt company, whether the company's current ratio is very high, whether how the company is using its assets efficiently. Now all that input the user will get from the balance sheet. So your balance sheet will give the indication about financial position of the entity. Then the second statement is the income statement. Income statement, what will it tell to the user of the financial statements? It will tell to the user of the financial statements as to how is the performance of the entity. एंड देखिए, बहुत सीधी सी बात है, अल्टीमेटली किसी भी बिजनेस को थ्राइव करने के लिए, किसी भी बिजनेस को ग्रो करने के लिए उसकी परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी होना ज़रूरी है. तो इनकम स्टेटमेंट या प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट, उससे मालूम पड़ेगा कि कंपनी का बिजनेस किस तरह से चल रहा है. हाउ इज़ द ऑपरेटिंग परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द बिजनेस, how is the financial performance of the business, how is the overall performance of the business. So user will be able to figure it out by looking at the income statement of your business. And last but not the least is the statement of cash flow. And statement of cash flow से क्या मालूम पड़ेगा यूजर को? Statement of cash flow से मालूम पड़ेगा ability of the business to take care of his financial obligations going forward. यानी कि कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट को देख के जो यूज़र है फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का, उसको ध्यान में आएगा कि भैया ये कंपनी अपने फाइनेंशियल ऑब्लिगेशंस को पूरा कर पाएगी कि नहीं कर पाएगी. इज दिस कंपनी जनरेटिंग इनफ कैश फ्रॉम इट्स ऑपरेशंस so that this company would be able to repay all its debts, long term as well as the short term. And that is what is the main objective of the financial statements. And these three statements that you see on the screen and that I have discussed with you will give you the information which I have just mentioned in case of all these three statements. Now, the framework also very clearly talks in terms of what are the underlying assumptions in preparation of the accounts. And remember, there are only two underlying assumptions in preparation of the accounts as specified in the framework. And those two assumptions are, number one is the accrual basis, and number two is going concern. And only two assumptions framework talks about, and these two assumptions are accrual basis and going concern. We all understand accrual basis very clearly because this is how we have been taught from the very beginning. Uh, and the second is going concern, and now here I may like to spend some time. So going concern का मतलब ये है, according to the framework, the accounts, the financial statements are to be prepared assuming that the business is a going concern. क्या मतलब है that the business is going concern? इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका ये मतलब है कि कंपनी फोरसेबल फ्यूचर में बंद होने वाली नहीं है. कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन, कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस, कंपनी का कैश फ्लो जनरेशन इज स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ to ensure that this company is going to be a going concern and going to be a going concern for all the times to come. There is no possibility, there is no reason for anybody to believe that this company is going to close down. So this is the basic assumption based on which you will apply all the accounting standards while making the accounts of the company or the financial statements of the company. In case if you have a reason to believe that the assumption of going concern is not holding water in respect of the company for which you are making the financial statements, then this fact will have to be brought out in the accounts as to why the company is not considered to be a going concern. So what are the reasons for that actually? So that will need to be reported very clearly. And again, I'm sure you can understand why it has to be done. It has to be done so that a reader, the user of the financial statements, in very clear terms is able to understand कि भाई this business is in operational risk. This business may close down. So he will take his economic decisions accordingly, and that is what you need to remember. So two assumptions, number one is accrual basis and number two is the going concern. Now the framework also talks in terms of the qualitative aspects of the financial statements. Now ये friends बहुत ज़रूरी है हम लोगों को समझना, क्योंकि अकाउंट्स बनाने, फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स तैयार करना इज़ नॉट अ फॉर्मेलिटी. इट्स नॉट कि भाई बिजनेस है उसमें ट्रांजैक्शन है तो उनकी रिकॉर्डिंग होनी चाहिए, उनकी अकाउंटिंग होनी चाहिए तो कुछ स्टेटमेंट बनना चाहिए और इसलिए स्टेटमेंट बनाओ. Now that is not the approach. The approach is the financial statements that you prepare got to have certain qualitative characteristics for them to be meaningful. And unless and until these qualitative characteristics are there, then your accounts will not really serve the purpose. So what are these qualitative characteristics? These qualitative characteristics are, number one, it is understandability. सिंपल सी बात है, नॉट ए रॉकेट साइंस, कि जो आप फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बना रहे हैं वो इस तरीके से बनने चाहिए ताकि जो उनको पढ़े वो उनको समझ में आए. दैट इज अंडरस्टैंडेबिलिटी इज द फर्स्ट क्वालिटेटिव कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एज फार एज योर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आर कंसर्न. नंबर टू, रिलेवेंस. सो आप आपके फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में दुनिया भर की इंफॉर्मेशन डाल दो, लेकिन अगर वो इंफॉर्मेशन डिसीजन के लिए रिलेवेंस नहीं है तो फिर ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन के डाल के कोई फायदा नहीं है. ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन से खाली कॉस्ट बढ़ेगी. टू एंश्योर दैट द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स गिव द रिलेवेंट इंफॉर्मेशन, दैट इज another reason as to why do you have the accounting standards, because accounting standards ensure that every business in their financial statements are giving a bare minimum information, so which is absolutely relevant. So the second qualitative characteristics is relevance. So जो भी आपके financial statements में आएगा, it has to be relevant for the purpose of decision making. Otherwise, giving too much of mundane information in your financial statements, it is not going to serve any purpose. It is going to waste time of the user and it is going to cost the company in terms of money. And based on the relevance, remember, is what you will decide about the materiality. एंड वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड कि फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग में, फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग में मटीरियलिटी हैज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले. एंड व्हाट इज़ मटीरियलिटी? इन सिंपल वर्ड्स अगर मैं आपको बताऊं तो मटीरियलिटी का यही मतलब है कि ऐसी कोई भी चीज़ जिसकी वजह से यूज़र ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स will take or will not take a decision is materiality, right? So any information, if it is not given in the financial statements, it is likely that user will not take a decision. That means this information is material for the purpose of financial reporting, and that will be depending on relevance. So there is a very good relationship between the relevance and the materiality. The third characteristics is reliability. अब देखो, आप दुनिया के सबसे सुंदर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बना दो, बैलेंस शीट बना दो, P&L बना दो, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट बना दो, बहुत सुंदर बना दो, लेकिन अगर उसकी रिलायबिलिटी नहीं है, यानी कि आपने कभी कुछ डाल दिया, कभी कुछ डाल दिया, कभी कहीं पे कुछ डाल दिया, कहीं कुछ डाल दिया, देयर इज नो कंसिस्टेंसी, देयर इज नो यूनिफॉर्मिटी, सो देयर इज नो रिलायबिलिटी. And if there is no reliability, the user is not going to be interested in the financial statements at all. And that means the whole purpose is defeated. So the third qualitative characteristics which is to be taken care of in the financial statements, and it is reliability. The information, the format, the structure, the disclosures that are made in the financial statements have to be made in a way so that they are reliable. And finally, of course, comparability. And remember, comparability does not mean only comparing your financials with your competitors' financials. Comparability does not mean only comparing your financials with the industry average. Comparability would also mean that your numbers, your financial statements got to give the numbers in a way so that the current year's performance is able to be compared with the last year's performance. So comparability has got a wider meaning. It does not have a limited meaning in terms of comparing your number with your previous numbers. It also means that the numbers must be comparable, not only within the numbers of the previous years of the company, but also comparable with the numbers of your competitors or the industry average or things like that. And you can understand why comparability is important, because only with the help of comparability you are able to really come to a conclusion as to how you are doing vis-a-vis your competitor or vis-a-vis your industry. And comparability has also got a relevance in terms of benchmarking. So only when your numbers are comparable you can do the benchmarking. So these are the friends for qualitative characteristics. Now as far as reliability is concerned, now in case of reliability, how will the reliability come? I am sure as I am discussing all these points with you, you can very well imagine, आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, आप सोच सकते हैं कि मेरे फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स को यूजफुल होने के लिए, मेरे फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स को पर्पस सर्व करने के लिए उनका रिलायबल होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. और वो रिलायबिलिटी कहाँ से आएगी? वो रिलायबिलिटी आएगी फ्रॉम दी फाइव थिंग्स. एंड व्हाट दोज फाइव थिंग्स आर? नंबर वन, एज यू कैन सी ऑन द स्क्रीन, इज द फेथफुल रिप्रेजेंटेशन. यानी कि जो भी आप दिखा रहे हैं वो सही दिखा रहे हैं, आप वही लिख रहे हैं, आप वही बता रहे हैं जो कि एक्चुअल में है, ना कि अदर वे राउंड. आप वो नहीं बता रहे जो नहीं है, या आप वो नहीं बता रहे, या वो बता रहे हैं जो नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. तो फेथफुल रिप्रेजेंटेशन का मतलब क्या है? फेथफुल रिप्रेजेंटेशन का मतलब ये है टू शो एज इट इज. जो है वही बताना is faithful representation. That has to be there for reliability. Then substance over form and neutrality. So what is the meaning of neutrality? The meaning of neutrality is there is no bias. कोई पूर्वाग्रह नहीं है. जो भी आप इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं उसमें आपका या किसी और का कोई वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. न्यूट्रल हैं. सो you have no interest this way or that way. So that is neutrality. Only when the accounts are prepared, only when the financial statements are prepared with the neutrality in mind, then only the reliability will come in case of these accounts. Then of course prudence, obviously prudence for the simple reason because some amount of conservatism is always useful, is always helpful. And then finally of course is the completeness. So reliability of the financial statements will come from these five things. So which means number one, faithful representation, number two, substance over form, number three, neutrality, नंबर फोर प्रूडेंस एंड नंबर फाइव कंप्लीटनेस. सो जब ये पांचों चीजें होंगे फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में, देन ऑटोमेटिकली द रिलायबिलिटी पार्ट विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ, विच इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटेटिव कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स as far as your financial statements are concerned. Remember, ये खाली समझने की चीज़ नहीं है फ्रेंड्स. ये जो है, जो आप देख रहे हो सामने स्क्रीन पे, ये एज अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, as a finance professional, as an accounts professional, now all these things that you are seeing on the screen, this should become part of your DNA. This should become part of your DNA. यानी कि ये जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग हम अभी समझ रहे हैं, ये पूरी तरह से हमारे थॉट प्रोसेस का हिस्सा बन जाना चाहिए. It should come naturally to us when it comes to the financial statements, that we are taking care of the understandability, we are taking care of the relevance, we are taking care of reliability, and we are taking care of comparability, right? Okay. So with this, let's move to the next one. And of course, there are certain constraints on relevant and reliable information. अब देखिए, सीधी सी बात है, anything that you want to do is going to cost you. So when you focus on relevance and reliability, there are certain constraints that a business will face. So what those constraints are? Number one, it is timeliness. क्योंकि किसी भी डिसीजन मेकिंग के लिए availability of the information has to be as fast as possible, as early as possible, as quickly as possible. अगर आप बहुत एक्यूरेट इन्फॉर्मेशन लेके आएंगे, 100% एक्यूरेट इन्फॉर्मेशन लेके आएंगे, लेकिन वो इन्फॉर्मेशन आप लेके आ रहे हो 1 महीने के बाद, तब तक सिचुएशन फॉर विच डिसीजन वाज टू बी टेकन इज ऑल ओवर. This timeliness has got this accuracy has got no meaning. This accuracy has got no usefulness. So timeliness is one constraint which has to be kept in mind always in preparation of the financial statements. Number two, you have to balance between the cost and its benefits. बहुत खर्चा करके आपने एकदम परफेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन निकाली, लेकिन वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन आपने निकाली उससे आपको गेन हुआ 1 लाख रुपए का, लेकिन वो एक्यूरेट इंफॉर्मेशन को पैदा करने में आपने 10 लाख का खर्चा कर दिया. इज इट वर्थ इट? डेफिनेटली इज नॉट वर्थ इट. सो द सेकेंड कॉन्स्ट्रेंट दैट हैज टू बी केप्ट इन माइंड इज बैलेंस बिटवीन द कॉस्ट एंड इट्स बेनिफिट. एंड फाइनली is the balance between the qualitative characteristics. So that means what? That means these are the 4 qualitative characteristics that we discussed little while ago. So we have to also balance in these 4 qualitative characteristics. That means too much of emphasis only on understandability and ignoring the remaining 3, or too much of emphasis on comparability, remaining the first 3, or in that order, will not really suffice your purpose. So financial statements बनाने के लिए there has to be good balance among all the 4 qualitative characteristics of the information. Okay. Now with this understanding, friends, let's move forward. Now let's look at what are the elements of financial statements. Now I'm trying to balance my time on each of these topics, ensuring that as I am discussing, you are able to understand them very clearly. However, if you have any doubt, any question, you can always put your question into the chat box to Rishikesh, and he would in turn will pass to me, and I would give the answer to your question. So what are the elements of financial statements, friends? The first is asset. So, what is an asset? Asset is a resource controlled by the entity as a result of past events and from which future economic benefits are expected to flow to the entity. So that is an asset, right? So this is how you will decide what is an asset. Then you have liabilities. So the second element is liability. Now, what is liability? It is the present obligation of the entity arising from past event, the settlement of it which is expected to result in an outflow from the entity's resources. So that is a liability. Liability क्या है? एक liability is your present obligation जो कि create हुआ because of some past event, and what that past event can be, that past event can be कि आपने रॉ मटेरियल उधारी में खरीदा, वो पास्ट इवेंट हो सकता है कि आपने बैंक से लोन लिया, वो पास्ट इवेंट हो सकता है कि आपने कहीं से एडवांस लिया, वो पास्ट इवेंट हो सकता है कि आपने बिल्स की डिस्काउंटिंग करी. सो दैट इज द पास्ट इवेंट. सो दैट इज लाइबिलिटी. लाइबिलिटी इज व्हाट? इट इज अ प्रेजेंट ऑब्लिगेशन अराइजिंग आउट ऑफ अ पास्ट इवेंट जिसको कि सेटल करने में कंपनी के रिसोर्सेज का आउटफ्लो होगा. दैट इज योर लाइबिलिटी एंड दैट इज सेकेंड एलिमेंट of the financial statements. And the third one is the equity. Equity is the residual interest. Now, what is residual interest? It is in the assets of the entity after deducting all its liabilities. तो अगर आप कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट देखें तो कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट में एसेट्स हैं और लाइबिलिटीज़ हैं और इक्विटी है. तो टोटल जो एसेट्स हैं कंपनी की, उसमें से अगर आप लाइबिलिटीज़ को माइनस करें, जो बचेगा दैट इज योर इक्विटी. सो रिमेंबर, इक्विटी वुड नॉट मीन इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल. Equity would mean equity share capital, also the reserves that the balance sheet of that company may have. So that is your third element of the financial statements. I'm aware and I can imagine that all these five elements that I'm discussing with you, which are part of the framework, I'm fully aware that all of you must be fully aware of these five elements. I am discussing them with you because they are part of your framework and I do not want to leave anything incomplete. So when I am covering this topic, I must give you complete information about it actually. So how do you do the recognition? So the recognition will be based on two factors. Number one, there is a probability of inflow or outflow. And number two, there is a reliable measurement of the inflow and the outflow. So when these two things are there, that means there is a probability of inflow happening, that is as regards the assets, outflow happening, that is as regards the liability. And in both the cases, there is a reliable measurement of the inflow and the outflow. So this is based on these two factors, you will do the recognition of the asset or the liability in the books of your company. The next element is income, and the fifth one is expenses. So what is income? We all understand very well, but increase in economic benefits. So what is income? In financial language, what is income? Increase in economic benefits during an accounting period on account of direct inflows or enhancement of an asset or decrease in a liability. So income can happen from three different events, three different types of events. Number one, there is a direct inflow. Number two, your assets are increasing. Number three, your liabilities are decreasing. So obviously, if there is a direct inflow, it is an income. Your assets are increasing, it is an income. Your liabilities are decreasing, it is again an income. So this is your element of income. And the fifth element is expense. And what is expense? Decrease in economic benefits during an accounting period, and again is contrary to what we understood in case of income. So there is a direct outflow, there is a depletion of an asset or decrease in asset, and increase in a liability. तो अगर हमारी एक liability बढ़ेगी, it is on account of there is an increase in the expense. राइट. सो हमने लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल हाँ हमने किसी को कमीशन पे करना है, राइट. तो कमीशन पे करना है इसका मतलब वो खर्चा हो गया. कमीशन पे करना है इसका मतलब वो लाइबिलिटी हो गई. एंड दैट लाइबिलिटी इज इंक्रीजिंग. करेस्पॉन्डिंगली व्हाट इज हैपनिंग? करेस्पॉन्डिंगली I have to pay that money on account of commission to somebody, right? And so these are the three reasons on which the uh, expense will happen in case of a business. Then friends, there is something called capital maintenance adjustment. Now इसका क्या मतलब है? अब मैं आपको बताऊं कि capital maintenance adjustment का मतलब ये है कि the closing balance of the capital, if it is exceeding the opening balance of the capital, that means there is an increase in the capital, increase in the equity. This is your capital maintenance. That means अगर एक बिजनेस के केस में the exceeding capital is more than the opening capital. When I say opening capital, that means capital at the beginning of the financial year is less than the capital at the end of the financial year, excluding any fresh inflow of capital from the owner, excluding any distribution of dividend to the owner. अगर आपका closing capital exceeding है, that means there is a case of capital maintenance. That means this business has maintained the capital, and not only it has maintained the capital, it has increased the capital, and that is the meaning of capital maintenance adjustments. And how do you do the recognition in case of the income and expenses? So again, number one, a reliable measurement of future economic benefits, and number two, recognition occurs simultaneously with recognition of asset or a liability. ठीक है. तो whenever there is an income happening, whenever there is a expense happening, the recognition of this income or this expense will happen in the books of the entity simultaneously together with recognition of a corresponding asset or a corresponding liability. So this is how the recognition would happen. And these, my friends, are the five elements of the financial statements that all of us need to be aware of. So number one is the asset, number two is the liability, number three is the equity, number four is the income, and number five is the expenses. So these are the five elements that we need to understand as part of the framework. Now the question is, what is the basis for measurement of these five elements of financial statement? जो पांच जो elements हैं जिसकी हमने चर्चा करी है. Now इन पांच elements को आप किस तरह से measure करोगे to recognize them in the books of the company? Now there are five different bases for the measurement of these five elements of the financial statements in your books. So what are those five bases? अब मैं आपको थोड़ा सा इसको सिंपल करके बता दूं कि हम लोग क्या बात कर रहे हैं. हम लोग ये बात कर रहे हैं कि ये जो फाइव एलिमेंट्स जो जिसकी हमने चर्चा करी विच इज़ द एसेट, द लायबिलिटी, द इक्विटी, द इनकम एंड द एक्सपेंस. नाउ ये जो पांच एलिमेंट्स हैं इनको बुक्स में रिकॉग्नाइज करने के लिए क्या बेसिस पे आप इनको मेज़र करोगे? यानी कि ये जो पांच एलिमेंट्स हैं ये आपकी बुक्स में किस अमाउंट पर रिकॉर्ड होने चाहिए, वो किस बेसिस पर आप डिसाइड करोगे. सो दोज फाइव बेसिस आर, नंबर वन इज़ द हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट. ठीक है. तो कोई एसेट है, आपने 10 साल पहले, 15 साल पहले, 2 साल पहले, 1 साल पहले खरीदी और it has been shown in the books at the historical price, so it would you can continue to show it at the historical price. So this asset is going to be measured in the books at the historical price. Now what I'm suggesting here, I'm not suggesting at all, because we are in the world of index now. So I'm not saying that if an asset has been shown in the books in the past based on the historical price, that means it has to be essentially shown continuously at the historical price. I'm not suggesting at all. What I'm discussing with you at this point in time, अभी मैं जो आपसे चर्चा कर रहा हूँ वो ये चर्चा कर रहा हूँ कि 5 अलग अलग कौन से बेसिस हैं जिसको यूज़ करके आप ये जो 5 एलिमेंट्स हैं उनकी अमाउंट को डिटरमिन करेंगे कि किस अमाउंट पर उनको बुक्स में लिया जाए. तो पहला बेसिस है हिस्टोरिकल प्राइस, हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट. सेकंड इज करंट कॉस्ट. करंट कॉस्ट का मतलब है आज आपने मशीन खरीदी, आज आपने रॉ मटेरियल खरीदा, आज आपने लोन लिया, आज आपने लोन रीपे किया. इट इज़ हैपनिंग टुडे. सो वो आज की जो प्राइस है, दैट बिकम्स द बेसिस फॉर मेजरिंग दोज 5 एलिमेंट्स इन योर बुक्स. सो दैट इज द सेकेंड. करंट कॉस्ट यानी कि करंट प्राइस, आज की तारीख में जिस अमाउंट पर वो ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है, दैट अमाउंट बिकम्स योर मेजरमेंट फॉर दैट एलिमेंट टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन योर बुक्स. नंबर 3, सेटलमेंट. सेटलमेंट का मतलब क्या है? सेटलमेंट का मतलब ये है कि कोई प्रॉपर्टी आप डिस्पोज कर सकते हैं या कोई प्रॉपर्टी आप खरीद सकते हैं या आपकी लोन लाइबिलिटी आप किसी के साथ में सेटल कर सकते हैं. तो सेटल कर सकते हैं मतलब क्या है? सेटल कर सकते हैं मतलब ये है कि यू मे एग्री फॉर एन अमाउंट विच इज़ नॉट द सेम एज अपियरिंग इन द बुक्स for whatever reason, depending on the situation. In some cases you can agree for a lower amount or you can agree for a higher amount. तो अगर आपकी liability आपको पे करनी है तो maybe you will ask the other party to give you a discount. So in that case the transaction will be recorded at the settlement value. That means the value at which you are agreeing or the other party is agreeing with you. The fourth is present value, and that is also known as value in use. I'm sure जब आप impairment के बारे में समझेंगे तो आपको ध्यान आएगा ये टर्म वैल्यू इन यूज़. लेकिन मैं आपको बहुत सिंपल वर्ड्स में बताऊं कि वैल्यू इन यूज़ का क्या मतलब है. बिल्कुल भी कंफ्यूज होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. वैल्यू इन यूज़ का मतलब ये है कि इस प्रॉपर्टी को, इस एसेट को यूज़ करके मुझे क्या वैल्यू मिलेगी. दैट इज़ वैल्यू इन यूज़. एज सिंपल एज दैट, right? So one of when you come to impairment, when you want to determine the amount of impairment in case of any asset or CGU in case of your business, that is where the concept of present value comes in the picture. And so the fourth basis for recording the elements in your books can be your present value. And finally, of course, fair value. Now, fair value. So what is fair value? I think I had discussed in one of my earlier sessions. What is fair value? Fair यानी कि ये उसकी सही कीमत है. That is fair value. There are many ways in which you determine the fair value. So that we would be discussing in greater detail, especially when we talk about Index 113, which is on fair value measurement. But for the time being, you can just understand these are the 5 bases on which these 5 elements are measured in the books of the entity: historical cost, current cost, settlement value, present value, and fair value. Now, so Rishikesh, now before I move forward, I would like to take a break for 2 minutes and check with you in case if anyone has posted any question. We'll take that question and then we will move forward.
Noted, sir.
Okay.
एक सेकंड फिर से चेक कर रहा हूं मैं. No, sir. No quiz.
Okay, very good, very good. So now, so what we have done, we have covered the framework, 9 aspects of a framework. A question एक सवाल जो आपके दिमाग में आ सकता है और आना चाहिए वो ये, व्हाट विल प्रीवेल, फ्रेमवर्क और द अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड। सो कल को अगर ऐसी सिचुएशन पैदा होती है कि अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड में जो दिया है और जो फ्रेमवर्क में लिखा है दोनों में कन्फ्लिक्ट है, तो क्या प्रीवेल करेगा, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड प्रीवेल करेगा या फिर फ्रेमवर्क प्रीवेल करेगा? नाउ रिमेंबर, फ्रेमवर्क इज ओनली फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ गाइडेंस. So what will prevail is what is given in the accounting standard. It is as simple as that. So it's not that the framework will. Please remember, framework is only a generic document. Framework is only a master statement. Framework is only mother document. It gives you the guiding principles. Specifics are given in the accounting standards. So in case if there is a conflict tomorrow between the framework, between what is written in the framework and what is given in a particular accounting standard, what would prevail is only what is given in the accounting standard. Framework will come in the picture only when something which is relevant and is not appearing in an accounting standard. In that situation, you will take resort to the framework to resolve this conflict. Right. Now we come to the okay. So with this, friends, we close our discussion on the framework